I think I'm enjoying way more just recording like this and like I guess going old school because YouTube used to be like it got flashy as it progressed, but uh when I came home in 2013, uh it was like the end of 2013. Social media was really like taking off, like Instagram. I didn't take it as like serious as I do like now, and I mean that because like back then it was like I posted every so whatever blah blah blah. It wasn't like I should have if I would have taken advantage because I would have been in it at an earlier stage, but it was meant to be. You know, it wasn't in my plans, but I have some earlier YouTube channels where I don't know. I just knew that that was gonna be the new way of getting your business card out there. Was gonna be through video. And when I came home from prison, I had all kinds of sketches written out for, you know, I wanted to do funny stuff. I wanted to do, cause I'm a I'm a clown. Like I always tell people, I had to laugh my whole life because if not, I would have probably went crazy with just everything. You know, my drug addiction, my just everything that I was carrying around because I was a hurt little boy in a grown man's body and trying to act like a man, where I had no idea what a true man was, for real. Um, I was trying to be a gangster. I was trying to be a drug dealer. Failed at those things because I mean, went to prison and my life was a mess. But I've learned also to not like be so hard on myself either now because like you know I the hand that I got dealt, you know, my mom having to move in with my uncle and all that stuff that happened, and you know I look at it like this. Um, went through a lot, went through a lot, but today I'm just I'm just a different kind of person because of everything that I went through. And like you know, everybody knows that I recently I'm a baby in my faith. Like I'm a baby in my walk. And uh when I started my walk, the healing really started, like, you know, working. And I was telling my wife yesterday, I remember it, you know, piece by piece, where there was big healings that happened to me in the kitchen, in the living room, just in different parts of the house where God was really like working on me and um, just healing me, my heart, everything. I got emotional yesterday because we were watching. There's a show on Netflix called This Is Us, and it's about three siblings, two twins, and an adopted kid. Um, and I'll let you guys look it up and watch it, but it just shows how messed up people could still be even when they have I guess you could say a decent upbringing, or how everybody has problems, everybody goes through things. Um, it's just it's a good show. Watch it. Anyways, I got emotional because uh, there was a part later in the season where they show the story of why one of the moms left her kid behind, and the kid was adopted. Blah blah blah. She ended up in prison, but there was a scene where um they give her phone call, right? And she calls somebody, whatever. And I started thinking about like all the times that I went to prison, and there was only one person that I always call, because I mean, I'm gonna be straight up like blunt and honest. She was like the only one that ever answered. My sister, my little sister, and I know her number by heart. It's the only number that I know today, and uh, I got emotional seeing that part, because in my heart, I felt like I had not told I I needed to say thank you for always picking up. It might not have been when I wanted, and not like, but she always picked up, and she was one of the very few that always did. Because I mean, I'm gonna be honest, my family didn't give a crap when I was in prison. They didn't try to write to me. They didn't try to see if I was okay. They didn't, nothing, nothing. When I got a little bit older, and I was like in my 30s, and I was doing time, I had a stepmom that was married to my dad. She was Colombian, and her family's from Miami, and she was very hardcore, very alpha female, and she pretty much ran the house. So she made my dad go and see me at every prison I was at, because I was getting moved, and they had me on transfer for almost a year. So like she made him go see me. She made him go to Vegas. She made him go to different places to see me, and but my family didn't give a crap that I was in prison. They never sent me money, nothing. When I came home, it was like, "Oh, you're back again." So, and I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real, and I shouldn't expect nothing from them, because they were my mistakes. They were my stuff, and Mexicans are very by code, like, especially if you grow up in a household where like the grandparents had to work the line, construction workers, hard labor workers, it's about, you go to work, you come home, you don't go nowhere, you're not on the streets, there was a lot of rules that me, being so damaged already as a kid, couldn't follow and didn't want to follow. So like 6th, 7th grade, I was already jumping out of windows from my grandparents' house, and like leaving, and so like I got into a lot of trouble, but my sister always picked up the phone. That was the one person I always let know. Did I say that right? Or did I say that backwards? Remember, guys, I'm dyslexic. um, she, I would always tell her, "Hey, I'm in Florida. Hey, I'm in Shawnee. I'm in, I'm in Texas." When I was in Mexico, it was, I would call my mom. My mom came to see me a couple of times. But when I was in Mexico, I was a mess. I left my mom in the room for the whole visitation, where I went and got high on crack. For the whole visitation. I still feel the guilt for that to this day. My poor mom. It is what it is, she's so fragile. She's so little. If you guys were to see her next to me, you guys wouldn't believe that. That's my mom. But I told my sister, I was like, thank you for always answering, right? And she went into this whole like, my sister she's had to heal a lot also. Like she had a lot of stuff going on at one time, but she had to heal a lot. But she went more through I guess you could say, I and this is just to be funny, but I feel like she's a hippie. Like she's always about, have a great Wednesday, and that's just how she is. She's very like happy, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like to me, I'm very different. Like I'm still very I still have a very tough exterior. I still have don't get me wrong, my heart is like completely. That's why like I called her to tell her thank you. I felt like I needed to do that because I had never did it. I came home. You forget. We're very selfish. We're very we do it sometimes without even thinking. We take, and we don't even say thank you. We don't even sometimes remember who was there. And it's important to remember who was there, man, because those people that are there in those moments, those are the ones you can count on. And one thing I've learned through my walk is that when you start to heal, it's gonna be like a process. It's gonna happen for the rest of your life, and you're gonna keep getting better and better. That's why you see like. I compare everything to fitness or sports or something, but those big pro bodybuilders really don't hit their genetic like growth until they're in their 40s and 50s because muscles mature. Muscles get older and better and wiser with time, with lifting and just breaking them down and feeding them and the whole routine. Same thing with personal growth and healing. Like you start to know what works, just like a diet plan, just like a workout. You start to see what works. Even sharing my stories with you guys has been like counseling for me, has been therapy for me, and that's what people need to realize nowadays. Like if you want to get better, there's things out there. That's why you hire coaches. That's why you hire mentors. That's why you do programs. It's like for like my program, the USP program, it's about learning to be by yourself. I didn't learn how to be by myself until I was recently married and divorced, and I had to learn to be by myself once I had already learned to love somebody. You guys understand that? That's like, and for someone that had never loved before, really, it was just lust my whole life. It was crazy to have to learn to be by myself, and it was some of the most painful moments in my life, even to the point where I wanted to go back to prison because that's where I felt at home. But the more pain I felt, the more I leaned into God. I started going more to church, volunteering more. I started just making myself available, raising my hand, reporting for duty, I call it. Sometimes we pray and it's all about what we want. And I just made myself available to God. And I started slowly healing. I started just being better little by little. And I'm not perfect. I would be a liar. And if someone says that they're perfect, you better run the other way. I have a lot of downfalls sometimes. Sometimes I slip and I swear. Sometimes it's just, I tell people I feel guilty for things now that I've never felt guilty before in my life. And I've had to sit down and process that and realize that I'm changing and welcome it. You know, like being, it's not a bad thing to not be hood no more, to not have all that pain, to not be struggling with all the stuff that I was struggling throughout my whole life. Um, I used to drink a lot, if not every day, every weekend, and I hid it from everybody. Nobody at the gym knew that I drank. Nobody and I had to work my ass off so much so I wouldn't gain the extra weight. So I was always tired. I wasn't sleeping. I was in the gym constantly. I, I was partying. All those vices really brought me down. And I was in and out of prison because I just didn't toxic relationship. So I based my program pretty much on a lot of aspects of a person that's hurt or broken. I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth. The program is about learning to be alone, taking care of your body and your more than just looking good, everything, the inside, your gut, everything. Sleep is so important to be able to function and feel right and be right and heal. You can't heal without sleeping. And most people that are they're damaged, I hate to say it like that, damaged, just been through tough times. They've been through stuff, wars, battles. There's a lot of scars. We tend to not sleep. I used to only get 2 hours of sleep back in the day, and it used to take a toll on me. And I used to be very aggressive, in a bad mood, just waiting to pretty much go off. And people don't realize that times like that is where, in Chicago we call it you could catch a case. You could go to jail for doing something stupid. And discipline, learning to kind of be on schedule, stay on schedule, and kind of do it no matter what. Like, my schedule is set. I get up earlier now because I want to do these videos in the morning before I even go into the gym. Then I train myself, then my clients. Today I go to the women's prison. I'll be there from 12 to about 4. If you guys want to help out, there's a GoFundMe in the description. And then after that, I get home and I do some reading. Then I do some work. I gotta get some work done today because I gotta get my nonprofit stuff done, because I have some organizations I want to donate to the prison ministry, where we're teaching the personal training class. We're teaching the women how to become personal trainers, so when they get home, we can help them get jobs through my platforms, through social media, so they could start to change their lives. Me going to get a job at the gym was a life changer for me. So I'm trying to show them how to brand themselves, how to get their license, all that stuff before they even get home, so they get kind of just have a little bit of help, when they get home. So if you guys want to donate and help, the GoFundMe is in the description. Thank you. They're going to be actually the first ones to see the USP program. And I think I broke it down in 6 modules. It's learning to be alone, physical strength, sleep, discipline, forgiveness, and alignment. Yeah, because it was all part of the journey. And the whole change, the whole transformation has happened because I started to heal 2 years ago when I got on my knees. I really started to look at life different. I really started to feel different. I tell people I had a new heart from that day on. And when I called my sister yesterday, it was to tell her thank you, like sincerely. I was crying. I was very emotional, but it was something that I had to get let out. And that's how you heal. That's how you start letting go of those bags. I forgot who told me a story once where you can't catch a train running with like 20 bags, suitcases in each hand. You have to start dropping them, because that's life. Time is short, and we're not here for very long, and we're supposed to like be an example. Like we're created in his image. Like God, we're like sponsored athletes here on earth, and we're supposed to like lead by example. And and he knows that we fall short. Like he knows how much we're gonna mess up and everything, but like he gives us the tools to get better and be better. I'm a firm believer, for real. Like, and that's why I tell people, I was never a Bible thumper when I was in prison. I was never like, I didn't, you see guys that they go into prison and they're serious. They get in full blown Christians. Like they have a little crew. They sit together. They ride together. They eat together. All different, gang members from different gangs, but they're hardcore Christians. I never really went that route because I was still, wanting to be in the mix. I still wanted to be around the gang members. I wanted to like still mess around, and I would pray and go to church when I needed money, like to pay drug debts. they were gonna kill me. So yeah, I prayed when I needed stuff or when I got caught. But no, I never really believed. I can't say it like that. I no, I guess I knew there was something. I mean, I've been around God my whole life, man. I was an altar boy when I was a kid, but it's hard to explain, because when I got on my knees 2 years ago, and I was too embarrassed to even look up, and I was crying, and from those 2 years to now, fast forward, I know how much of a different man I've become in these 2 years. So like, I can only imagine 2 years after that, and then 2 years after that. Like it's I understand what a seasoned Christian is pretty much now. I guess you could say I have a little bit of a feeling for it, because I know how much I've healed, and still, like yesterday, I realized how much more I still need to heal, and how it's gonna be a lifetime process. Like it's gonna be forever. But that's why it's so important that the work that I want to do. Like I'm excited that I get to go back into the prisons. I'm excited that like I could teach somebody like me that there is a better way. And like I tell people, my program's not a get rich program. It's a get ready to be rich program, because without healing, you're really a mess. You can't help nobody. That's why they tell you when the plane's gonna go down, you gotta put on the mask on yourself first before you put it on your kid. Like you need to get better before anybody else gets better, or anything gets better. As I've healed in my walk and in everything, work has gotten better. You know, everything has gotten better. Do I still have problems? I have a lot. I still have the same problems that I created from all the stuff that I did in the past, but I just know how to deal with them. I guess you could say I try not to worry, even though sometimes I fall short, but I really try to give it to God and let Him control what's going on and what's happening. I have a love and a heart for prison work and for kids and stuff like that in my ministry, and I believe that God placed that in my heart for a reason. And I want to share my stories, not to glorify my lifestyle, but to make you laugh or smile or even entertain you. And that's why I told you, like, I'm enjoying just getting here an hour early before I go into work, recording, and having a conversation with you, like one-on-one, like real, raw, uncut, like no editing, no intro, no outro, just boom. We're in. And share parts of like what I'm doing now too, because that's important. What am I doing now? Like, how are we healing? How are we staying on schedule? How are we, you know, staying motivated? Diet, just everything. So like, I could talk about a lot of things, but the most important thing is, remember that God started to heal me 2 years ago, and today I am where I am, and I have what I have because of Him. And I'm motivated to tell you about Him, because I want you to feel the same way I feel, not because it's not about fame. It's not about making money. Really, I've really found a deep calling to like trying to help guys like me, or just people like me that have just been through a lot. Mental health has been a big factor in my healing, and there's a lot of stuff that we could do to educate ourselves to get better. But if we don't ask for help, how are we supposed to get better? And I'm gonna keep recording like this, keep giving you like what's going on. And honestly, I'm gonna do it every day, because I think that every day should be a motivation to keep going. And it's more than that. It's discipline. To remind you that you're not alone. Like, everybody's going through something. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's going through something. So as I get better at recording these, I'm always gonna share a story that either I think it's funny or crazy, or just something from my past. And like I said, it's not a glorified nothing. It's really not. It's to show you that you've probably been through something that I've been through, or I've been through something you've been through. And if you are hurt, you're not alone. Like, that's the whole wrong to strong concept, is going from wrong to strong, getting better. Yeah. It's good, man. 2 a.m. in the morning. All right. I got a pretty cool story for you guys today. It's funny. It's about my boy Kato. He passed away in 2002. Was murdered in a barber shop. It was a big old federal case with the Fort Corner Hustlers. It's a street gang in Chicago, and the twins, and just all this drama of just that world in Chicago is very, very dark. A lot of money, a lot of bad people. But there was a time where him and I got really close, and I would go over there in the morning, and he had his little crew of guys that always were around, and we would get there in the morning and smoke. Back in those days, there was hydro weed going around, purple haze and all that stuff, and that's how we would start our day. And he had this dog. His name was Manson, Charles Manson, and he was a Chinaman pit. He was a Chinaman pit, and He was mean, and he was lean. He looked like Bruce Lee, and he was really mean. Like I'm already terrified of dogs. Dogs terrify me. I'm afraid of dogs. It's one of my fears, for real. Fear factor. Like I'm just scared of dogs. I've had bad experiences with dogs, and I'll have more stories. But anyways, he would always sick him on me, and I was scared of him. And he would, try to bite me, pull my pants, and he was very aggressive. Every morning, I would go over there. The guys would be over there. Everybody would be laughing. We would leave. It went on there like that for a couple weeks. Manson ended up biting. I think it was the post office guy. Somebody came to deliver something, and the dog bit the guy. So Cato called me in the morning and told me that I needed to come and get Manson because they were gonna take him, and he was, a high-end dog. His bloodline, everything, but he was very mean, very aggressive. He only listened to him. I mean, he was, yeah. And I felt bad, I felt bad, and honestly, like, at the time, he was kind of like my boss because he was helping me. He was helping me move a lot of work. So, like, I had to do it. I'm one of those people that I'm just, I'm down. And I drove over there, jumped out, went in his house, and he gives me a leash and the dog, and I'm like, man, I can't take that dog, man. Like, he's gonna kill me. especially if I put him in the car and he's like behind me and starts like tearing my neck apart and I crash and die. I was like, I can't do this, man. And at that time, I felt like I owe him even more because I ended up buying his old house from him. So I was staying not too far from him. I was on 79th in Cicero, and he was on Central Park and like, I want to say 47th, 51st, something like that. And I had got it. He had gave me his house. Like we made a deal. So like I owed him. So I went over there and I'm like, man, I was like, you know what? I told him I'm gonna walk him all the way to the house. And he's like, what? You're gonna walk him? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I can't take the chance of that dog like being in the back seat and just like starts biting me. Like, at least like if I'm walking him, I'll have a chance to run. I'll do something. And he gave me this leash that was like 6 feet long. Like, it was long. And sure enough, he started walking. So like, we started walking, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, don't get me wrong, I was terrified. I was very scared because if you guys could see how mean this dog was, you guys would understand. So we start walking, and I already knew it was going to be a challenge to get to my house because I actually had to go through a couple of gang neighborhoods. I was going to have to go by the 2-6. The Popes are on that side of town. There's a couple of black gangs from the projects on Cicero. There's a bunch of gangs on that side. Over there by Midway, by O'Hare on the south side, there's a bunch of gangs in that area. It's not their neighborhood, but a lot of them move out there because nobody knows who they are. So like, they live out there, so their friends go over there. So they're driving around. So we start walking. It was crazy because every couple of blocks he would turn around and growl at me like he wanted to like kill me, and I would be like, hey, little doggy. I would try to talk to him like a baby. And he would turn around and start walking again. He knew pretty much that he was running the show. Like, he knew. He was letting me know, pretty much. And I think we got all the way to 63rd and Cicero before we hit, like, some problems. I saw a car come around, and I was like, man, here we go. That's how it is over there. Like, you see them, they're coming around, and they go around, and yep, it's like, it's game time, you know. And I was like, man. And sure enough, they come around. There's a liquor store on Cicero on 63rd. They come all the way around, and they jump out. I think there were 2-6. I can't remember. There were 2-6 or Ambrose. I think there were 2-6. And I started running because they started chasing me right away. And it's crazy because Manson started running towards them, and he started going into work. Like, he was letting them have it. Like, they started running all over the place. And it's crazy because I was running, and then he caught up next to me running, and he looked over to me. And I'm not gonna lie, like, there's no need to lie about this. Like, it was almost like a human being. He nodded his head almost like, look, I took care of business. And we became pretty close from that day on. I had to get rid of him because he bit a couple of people, and they were looking for him, the cops. But you know, after that day, I kept him around with me. He was always in my Chevy Caprice. I used to have the Chevy Caprice that had a chameleon paint job, and had those old school moon rims with the white walls jacked up. And I had like the interior done, and I had sounds. I had just gotten out of prison, so like I had made some connections in the Mexican prison in Mexico, and I was getting a lot of weed, like Mexican dirt weed, for cheap, but I was making bank on it. And that I was like hood rich. I had a chameleon paint job. I forgot I paid like, I think like 15 or 18 grand for the paint job, and then I got the whole interior done with like diamond cut and sounds and rims. And I remember coming home, and I was listening to 3-6 Mafia, who run it, and I was just driving around without my shirt, my chain. But you know, after that day, I always had him in the car with me, and I mean, we were up to no good, obviously, me and him always. But he was like my road dog. He was always with me in my car. But I started to feel bad because he was so mean. I couldn't keep him nowhere. I always had to leave him in my car. You know, and Chicago is cold. It's a cold city. So like you have to be tough. I had to give him away. He bit a couple people, and the cops were looking for him. But it's crazy because let me tell you something. The guy, so there was somebody in my crew that later on ended up, you know, backstabbing me, robbing me, whatever. But that dog, the day that person jumped in the car with me, that dog wanted to kill that person. And it's funny because the dog knew like what time it was. And it didn't happen just once, it happened twice. And yeah, you know, I'm always gonna remember Manson. I'm always gonna remember Cato. We had a lot of crazy moments in our lives, a lot of violence, a lot of just bad stuff. But I look at it like this, man. Nobody's born bad. Nobody. We live in a broken world. First, let me start off with that. You know, and there's a lot of sin. There's a lot of, no one needs to be taught how to lie. Like we pick up a lot of traits from this world that are bad. We lie, we cheat, we steal, and we think, oh, mine's not bad because it's not murder. Mine, no, it's all bad. And we were just a bunch of kids that just got taught. We just had all the wrong teachers. That was it. But we had some good times that I remember, and they make me laugh. And like that dog, me doing that for Kato, and like taking the bullet for that one. I'll never forget that, because that dog could have killed me. And it's crazy because we became best of friends. He went through a lot with me in those years, because remember, after that, I kind of moved away, and Kato got, murdered, and a lot of bad stuff happened, and I ended up here in Arizona, and my drug addiction got out of control, and going from having a decent life, I guess you could say, from selling drugs and being able to survive off of that. In Chicago, for me, it was easy because I had been doing it all my life, so it was easy to get drugs. It was easy to sell drugs. It was easy to make money in that field. But once I got here and I didn't know nobody, it was very different. I had to get a job, had to suffer, had to really get down in the trench, and my drug addiction and my toxic relationships and everything. But like I said, the healing has been a journey that I don't think I would want to trade for anything, because it's taught me to be the way that I am now. And I don't stress no more about what if or what. Like, I actually live in the moment now. I live in the moment. Do I still have bills? Do I still, owe child support? Yeah, all that stuff. But everything's falling into place little by little, and it does me no good to stress about something I can't change. It does me no good to worry about stuff I shouldn't worry about. God's got this. I'm telling you guys. This is why this is important for me. These videos, these storytelling, this just us hanging out in the morning. This is me. This is the new Wrong Strong YouTube channel. Raw, uncut, unedited. Just no intro, no outro. Just real talk right here in my car. Alright, so now I gotta go work out. Now I have to work. Today I am doing, it was between chest and back. I'm feeling like I want to do chest. Is it one of my favorite workouts? It's alright. I like chest. I like to do back more. I like to deadlift more. I like to do back exercises. I like to squat more than chest. That sounds crazy. But I squatted the other day, and I went pretty heavy. I'm having a lot of issues with my lower back lately, just from all the glory days, I guess you could say. And I'm getting old, so I have to start to age with my fitness and not let fitness age me. So I have to start changing stuff in my workouts and go more for a more smaller size, just and stop lifting so heavy, and just start conditioning myself more. So I'm gonna do chest. I'll probably start with decline. I start with decline because it warms up your shoulders, and it gets the blood going in there, so when you go on to flat, you're ready to go. I always do 2 heavy compound movements of whatever body part I'm doing first before I even move on into anything else. And I keep it really simple, very old school, very Arnold, Lou, all from back in those days. It's just heavy movements between 8 to 12 reps. I'm fasted. I actually like to work out fast, and then I'll eat afterwards. So I'll do chest, and I'll do a little bit of cardio. I'm starting to do cardio in the morning and at night because my weight got a little bit out of control. I got a little bit not fat, but I got up to 238, and I need to be about 198 or 200 pounds. So I've been doing cardio to kind of even out my food and start dropping. I need to do a photo shoot in 2 weeks actually for the program. The program is gonna come with a journal and a workbook. Like, it's gonna be combined together, where you're gonna be able to track like your workouts, your prayers, your just like a checklist, and it's gonna be a workbook for the stuff that the exercises you're gonna be doing for the videos, to teach you like how to sleep, how to get it, what books to read. Like, I give you the tools, like books to read, stuff that I learned throughout the years in prison and outside. But training is a big one for me. You guys know that. If you guys want to sign up to my online training, I'll leave the link in the descriptions also. So I'll do chest. So I'll do pretty much an hour of working out, strength training, and then I'll do about 20 minutes of cardio, and then I'll do another 20 minutes at night when I get home. But that's it pretty much, and I'm very consistent with the exercises. I let my body get used to pretty much, I want to say 5 to 6 basic exercises that I really let my body adjust to it. And I say that because I'll use those same exercises for about 30 days. And if I'm getting stronger and stronger, then I know I'm making, gains. But yeah, that's what it is, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this time, and if you guys have ideas or things that you guys want to talk about or suggest, please leave a message on the descriptions, and yeah, let's change this day. Look, if you could today make this world a little bit better by just asking somebody how they're doing or giving somebody a hug, don't you think it's worth it? I mean, you'll be surprised what it could do for you. So, hey, my name's JC. I am Wrong Strong. Hey, don't judge nobody. Stay in your lane. Live savage and live for him. For him. I hope you enjoyed my shenanigans. I'll check you guys later.